I am so upset. Sorry. I'm walking to the library. I'm just really frustrated. So, I was doing some work from home this morning, and the news came up. Well, Pete put the news on, and the first thing that came up was the war or what's going on in Ukraine. And he was like annoyed and said it's just because COVID is ending, it's, just a ploy, it's just a distraction. Pete like believes in like the whole, I'm just like really frustrated. It's hard for me to say what I'm trying to say. Anyway, if he saw this and he saw me call him a conspiracy theorist, he would be really mad at me. But like the whole New World Order thing, all that stuff, is inclined to believe that, and I'm not. And anyway, so he quickly changed the channel, which was fine with me because I don't like to have a discussion with him about really anything involving news, politics, going the ways of the world, because he will like twist my words and spin things around to make it seem like I'm not making sense, or that my points are invalid. And then I'll try to exit the conversation because it's him just like in a way gaslighting me. And then he'll start insulting me and raising his voice. And it's just terrible. So that's pretty much what just happened just now. So came on the news, changed the channel. I was just like, it kind of was just like bothering me, the things that he said. And I said, I find it disturbing that you don't care at all about what's happening in Ukraine. And whether or not you think it's a distraction or people way high up pulling the strings to manipulate the public, there are people who are getting hurt, and I'm sure that's terrifying. People are losing their homes and all that stuff. And he was like, you don't even actually care. I don't care. You don't care. Your care is just fake. And I was just trying to explain myself, which I know I shouldn't even try to do anymore because it's always useless. But that's not even the point. What ended up happening was like I said, he started yelling at me, like literally we're just sitting in the living room. I'm doing my paperwork. He's doing his work. Sorry. And he just starts yelling at me to the point where I have to get up, leave the room, and I run into my room and lock the door, because getting yelled at is extremely triggering for me. Sorry, there's like traffic. I don't know if the sound's gonna be bad. If it is, I'm sorry. He knows all of my past. He knows everything that happened with my mother and how she treated me and how she yelled at me and terrified me. He knows all of it. And he still will use it against me or speak to me that way, no matter how many times I have begged and begged and begged. But, I'm used... Oh, this is not... It was not a walk sign. I'm used to it. And that's not even the thing that is frustrating to me, because at this point, I know what to do. I remove myself. I'm not going to let you yell at me like that. So I removed myself from the situation. I went and got lunch, and now I'm taking a walk. And immediately after an argument, he'll always be like, probably within just like 5 minutes, he'll pretty much every time come slinking around like, but we're still best friends. Or just like try to be playful with me or like cutesy with me without ever apologizing. But what I'm frustrated about is that this has been normal for me in every relationship I've been in. And I didn't even realize that I had a problem. I didn't even... Sorry. I didn't even realize how, toxic we were together until I stumbled upon codependency and I realized, oh shit, this is a pretty terrible relationship. But what I'm the most upset about is what happened with Robert. I was so closed off the whole entire time. And it's Pete has yelled at me, belittled me, insulted me, broken up with me, all of those things so many times. And I still kept wanting to date him and hang around him. And it's almost like it is an addiction. And if you saw any of my vlogs when I was starting to date Robert. Sorry if that was gross. When I was starting to date Robert, I wouldn't say, it was really difficult for me to even say that I was dating him. And like I said, my feelings kept being flip-floppy, wishy-washy. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Anyway, my feelings were just all over the map, and he was so incredibly patient. And I am so mad that I can't just be in a happy relationship and see it for what it's worth. I am so mad that if I don't have toxicity and pain in my relationship, that it's not exciting for me. And then I'm bored. It's so messed up. Because that's the only thing that was missing from my relationship with Robert. The only thing that was missing was the toxicness. We have so much in common. He's the sweetest person ever. We make each other laugh. It's really easy to be around him. He's interesting to talk to. He's really supportive. Really supportive. And it just sucks that I'm kind of messed up and can't be in a relationship successfully. And yeah, bottom line, we still hang out and see each other and talk. And he's still my friend and everything. And I want to take it back. But I also don't want to do to him what Pete did to me, which was breaking up with me, reeling me back in. Breaking up with me, reeling me back in. Over and over and over again, because that's not good either. So I just have to get my head together, I guess. I really need to be in therapy. It's getting really difficult for me to function. I feel like there's a break. I feel like I'm heading towards a breaking point. I'm kind of just hanging on right now, waiting for things something to click, and then suddenly I'm going to be productive and be able to complete tasks in a timely fashion. Did I tell you my ADHD appointment was a shit show? She didn't even listen to me. She just completely blew me off. And then she said she didn't even know what my appointment was for. She didn't even know who I was. She's like, how are the kids? I know you have a lot going on at home. And I was like, what kids? You mean my clients? She just didn't even know who I was. So I have to go see a specialist. But it's just literally getting so hard for me to do the day-to-day things. And maybe it'll get better once I'm in my own apartment. Because Pete yelling at me like that at 10 a.m. this morning kind of threw off my day. And not usually, he usually has an outburst once a day, I would say. Typically not at me. Usually it's at something else, but he's still yelling, screaming, carrying on, throwing a tantrum, even though he's 30 years old. I lost my train of thought during that vent. And it's like, I don't know. Again, when I was making vlogs, like when I first started dating Robert, I said like, oh, I feel so guilty because people like, I guess the correct term would be love bomb me. And once I said I was moving out, he was so much nicer. He stopped doing, so here's something he does. He'll like be purposefully irritating, like speak in an annoying voice, be like excessively loud in the morning. He called me and my rabbit Doughboy for like a week. Just like stuff to needle you and get under your skin. And I try to ignore it. It's called gray rocking. I try to ignore it until it gets to the point where I explode. Because it is so irritating. And he actually has stopped doing that. I would say for the past month, or ever since I said I was moving out, he has not done that annoying behavior. So I know he was doing it on purpose. And on top of that, he is also now cleaning the house. So for the roughly 2 years we've lived together, he initially in the beginning would clean up a little and then stopped. And then, yes, just stopped entirely. And I would like literally be cleaning the entire house in front of him and he wouldn't help or anything like that. And now he's cleaning the house. Which again tells me he always had the ability. Of course he had the ability. He's a grown-ass man. Hey, that cop almost ran me over. You saw it? She almost hit me. There's a walk sign. Anyway. Coffee's gone cold. Sorry it's so noisy. Anyway, yeah. So he's been a lot nicer. He hasn't been intentionally irritating me, and he has been cleaning up after himself. And it's just like I'm just at a loss for words. And I feel like I don't know if I'll be able to post this today or if I should wait until after I move, because I've had to keep the peace so that me moving out happens as it should. I always tell him I feel like you're going to sabotage me or something. And I don't know if that's just my paranoia or what. But he didn't make me pay rent this month. He said I'll take over and start paying the full rent. So I've had to be nice because of that, because that's really helpful for me, and I don't want to pay this month's rent because I have a lot of bills coming up. And I feel like I've had to be like sort of manipulative in a way to just for my own self, so that things happen, so that I can get out of like this apartment situation, basically. And I don't think he watches these, I really don't, but I'm still worried about what he thinks, and I don't know. This is how it had to be, how it will be perceived, or like, will he smear my name through the mud? Because I'm moving to Delaware like permanently now, and he's lived here his whole life. It's a small state. He could blacklist me throughout the whole state. He's pretty popular. I don't know. I just had to get some stuff off my chest. I'm actually going to see. I asked Robert if he wanted to get coffee with me on his lunch break, and he said yes. I miss that guy. Yeah, well, thank you for listening. I gotta get a therapist, and I have got to get, something is wrong, okay? I am so certain that it is ADHD, because it just makes so much sense. But if it's not, it's something, okay? Because I just cannot function, and it's really an issue, because I have bills to pay, and I gotta take care of myself, because no one else is going to do it for me. So yeah, anyway, just a little sad girl update. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. I just wanted to add one other thing. to what I had been saying. So, one of the worst parts about this whole codependent, toxic relationship that I've had with my previous partner, I think I'm just going to stop referring to him by name because I am a little bit worried what he would do or say or how he would react if he saw that I was like talking about this in an open public space. So I'm just gonna from here on out refer to him as my previous partner because that could be anyone. But anyway, the worst thing about my previous partner is that for him, I would accept the absolute bare minimum. So one of the days I was vlogging, talking about him, and I always have this need to like defend him or to not upset him. So I was going through like the things I like about him, and one of the things was that he makes me coffee. Well, first of all, he's making coffee for himself, and he's just including, where am I going? He's making coffee for himself, and he's just making enough for me, which that's not really anything. Robert, on the other hand, would bring me breakfast in bed every single day if I asked him to. And he runs to the car to open my door. And if he is getting us something to eat or drinks or napkins, anything, he will always give it to me first. He's never yelled at me. Obviously, like, people can show you their true colors later. Because these outbursts that I'm referring to that Pete does, I never knew he did that. Oops, my previous partner. I didn't know that he did that until we moved in together. We dated for 2 years before we lived together. And I never saw him scream, kick things, throw things. I never saw him do that until we lived together. But I don't really think Robert is like that. But anyway, what I'm saying is, like, Robert would consistently roll out the red carpet for me because he wanted to, because he cared about me, and he's just like that. And Pete oh my gosh, I'll get better. My previous partner did all of the shitty things that he did, and it takes so little effort on his part to rope me back in again. And that's really frustrating. So now that I know about codependency, I do recognize these patterns. I see them happening. It's like, once you know, it's like putting on glasses. Once you know, you can't unsee it. So I see his behavior and I understand why he's doing it. And I understand why I'm reacting the way that I am. And I think I have a decent understanding of it, but I don't, that's not a solution. It's just awareness. So I do know what to do from here, and that is therapy. But yeah, I hope all that makes sense. And someday, I think I'll be a great girlfriend, partner. Someday, I guess. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little bit more. I hope it made sense. Just one more thing. Another thing that I wanted to say. So my trip, Robert and I took a trip together after we had broken up, and nothing physical happened between us. Nothing romantic happened between us. And I think I had been expecting it to, even though we were broken up, because I am so used to my boundaries not being respected that I expected them to automatically. And they weren't. We did sleep in the same bed, but it was a really big bed, and we had space for the Lord between us. And yeah, he was literally just a wonderful friend to me for that whole weekend. And I feel like I am just such a mess. But like I said, at least I'm aware of it. All right, I'm at his house now. See ya, guys. Thank you for listening. Maybe in a year from now, I won't be so sad all the time. We'll see. Bye.